Hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you've come and joined us tonight for the B-Lab 2020 Breakthrough Showcase. My name is Jason Harry. I'm the director of the Breakthrough Lab here at Brown University. And it was my great pleasure to work with students all summer long on their incredible ventures. We had a wonderful staff helping them. Before we jump into the program, I want to encourage you to see this Zoom session as a community event. That's why we chose to have it be in this format with all of the tiled videos. Like to have it be as much like a live room as we can. So if you feel comfortable with your video on, it'd be lovely to have your video on so the students can see who's in the audience. Also want to encourage you to use the chat and emojis. You can applaud. You can applaud me spontaneously right now if you feel like it. But certainly as the program continues, feel free to offer your support in any way that's comfortable. As you've seen in the chat, we are recording the session today if that has any bearing on what you do in Zoom. I wanted just to very quickly tell you a little bit about B-Lab. B-Lab is a student venture accelerator, which just means that we come together as a cohort with the sole purpose of helping the students make really demonstrable progress on ventures of their creation. This isn't about faculty projects or whatnot. These are things that the students have identified as problems in the world and are seeking to solve them. Over those 8 weeks, they're doing things like customer discovery, prototyping, working with mentors, trying to figure out how to form their venture and launch their venture. It's a selective process to get into B-Lab, and we look for ventures that are what we consider to have impact at scale. That means that as they grow and are successful, that they'll really be something meaningful in the world and really have a big impact. We're agnostic as to whether they're for-profit or not-for-profit. It doesn't matter if they have physical products or services or mentoring or whatever it is they're doing. We welcome all of those kinds of ventures into B-Lab. And over the course of the 6 years that B-Lab has been in operation, we estimate that we've had about 75 ventures, maybe upwards of 170 students. And those students come from all over the university, all departments, all levels of their academic experience, from early in the undergraduate experience to all the way into graduate school. And that allows us to have ventures that are both diverse in the individuals who are participating in B-Lab, but also the ventures themselves, as you'll see tonight, are incredibly diverse as far as the purpose and the problems that they're trying to solve. Well, like I say, we have something like 150 B-Lab alums. I actually saw some of them logging in when the Zoom session was getting started. I'd like to invite any B-Lab alum to indicate that you're a B-Lab alum with a thumbs up emoji, and people can look around in the Zoom room and just get a sense of how many alums have taken the time to come. We really appreciate your support and your interest in seeing the next group and their great work. I also want to take a second to thank the mentors who also participate here in the Breakthrough Lab. We have a great core staff in the Nelson Center. I'll be introducing them later in the program. But I also want to acknowledge that we have literally dozens of people from outside the university who volunteer their time to work with students and to ask the tough questions and to help them advance, to extend their own personal networks to the ventures. And so I want to say that if you are a mentor of either this cohort, the 2020 cohort, or really any cohort that we've had in the prior years, if you've been a mentor, take a second to identify yourself with a thumbs up so we can acknowledge the really great work. We really appreciate you taking the time to help the students on their ventures. Well, the agenda tonight's really simple. We're going to be hearing from each of the 15 ventures. It comes in two parts. First, there's going to be, for each venture, about a 3-minute pre-recorded video with slides. The venture is going to, the entrepreneur is going to describe what they've been up to through B-Lab, and then we'll cut to them for a little brief live update, and they can tell you what their more recent activities have been or how you could help them, that kind of thing. I want you to understand that the presentations you're going to see are not investor decks. So don't be watching for competitive analysis and hockey stick revenue curves and stuff like that. This is about problem, solution, and impact. And I think you'll be impressed. At the end of the 15 presentations, we're going to do something a little bit experimental, but we think is going to be really fun, the sort of thing that you could only do in an online environment. And that is, we're going to open 15 simultaneous Zoom rooms, one for each venture. You'll be able to find those links in the program website. That is being shown from time to time in the chat window. You can click on that link, and at the end of the program, you'll be able to scroll through the ventures and click on the Zoom link and go right in there and have a conversation with the entrepreneurs. They're really looking forward to meeting new people and to extend their network. So I hope you'll take a few minutes to jump around from room to room. Well, that's all I have to say. Let's jump into the presentations. I think what you're going to see is a wonderful glimpse of the future and evidence of a lot of really dedicated hard work on the part of these brilliant young entrepreneurs. Stay tuned.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Eddie Ong. I'm the founder of Erudity Capital. Erudity Capital is the first financial service organization making markets work for low-income investors by creating a fund for low-income investors. Let's talk about the stock market for a second. When most people think of the stock market, they think of Warren Buffett. They think of the Wolf of Wall Street, maybe. They think of wild, runaway, untapped wealth. The reality is, the stock market is one of the greatest drivers of inequality in our economy. And the reason for that is it's largely inaccessible to the people that can benefit from it the most. I'm talking about low-income, working-class investors. That begs the question, why is it so difficult for these investors to get into the market? And there's three main reasons for that. The first is risk. These investors, these families, they can't afford to be 20% down on their principal if their car breaks down and they need to pay their rent next week and they need to get to work. They need to know that when they need their money is going to be there. The second issue, which ties in closely with the first, is liquidity. These families don't know that they can buy and hold stocks for 20 years. If there's an emergency tomorrow, they need to be able to pull out their money tomorrow and access it quickly. And the third issue is education. It's, where do I invest? Do I buy stocks? Do I buy bonds? Which stocks do I get? What are ETFs? Should I be buying ETFs? Who do I even buy from? It's knowing where to get started. This is where Erudity Capital comes in. So what have we learned? We've learned that low-income families aren't in the market, and because they're not in the market, that creates increasing inequality. How do we get these families into the market? The key here is downside protection. That's what Erudity Capital does. When these families invest their monies with us, these low-income families, their principal is guaranteed. That means no matter what the market's doing, they can pull out their money at any time and know that they have their principal. If they put $100 in and the market tanks by 50% tomorrow, they can pull out that $100 at no fee, no commission. It's not a loan, there's no interest. They don't have to pay it back. They're just guaranteed that principal. And by allowing these families that freedom, that liquidity, taking away that risk, we're allowing families to take advantage of interest from not only higher interest rates from the market, but also compound interest, which lets them reach their financial goals sooner. And by shaving years off their financial timeline, where it's more likely that they're going to actually reach their financial goals. The key here, Erudity Capital is a nonprofit organization. We're not looking to get commissions. We're not looking to drive up fees. Our goal is our mission. And our mission is to make markets work for families who've been excluded from them throughout its history. So if you'd like to learn more about how we here at Erudity are reimagining the stock market to make it more inclusive, to help build wealth for these families, then I'd love to chat afterwards.
So as I mentioned, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in tonight. Erudity Capital, as you heard, is full steam ahead this fall. Right now, we're working on firming up and finalizing our financial model, which is really exciting because it's unlike anything that we've seen out there so far. On top of that, we're also working on filing for nonprofit status right now. We're always interested, and I'm always interested in talking with anyone who's interested in Aridity or in the stock market or in using the market for creative ways. So I'd love to chat with you afterwards in my Zoom room if you're interested. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hilary Brame and I'm the founder of Bittersweet, a venture that makes end-of-life care products for pets to ensure that the transition from life to death is meaningful and dignified for the animal and the human. Considering how popular pet ownership is, it's unsurprising to learn that there's 135 million cats and dogs in the United States. And that's easy for me to understand. Pet ownership is extremely fulfilling, but it can also be very difficult. In conversations with pet owners and veterinarians, everyone told me that the end-of-life process for animals is the most difficult part of pet ownership. Several people even shared that the loss of their cat or dog was more difficult than the loss of their mother or father. How can this be true? Well, one of the main reasons is that, compared with human death, the process of dying for animals does not have many healing rituals built in. There is a thriving service and product market for memorialization after an animal has died, but the actual process of dying can be very lonely and difficult for pet owners. The majority of animals are euthanized in place of dying naturally, and many people identified this procedure as the most traumatic part of the experience. The euthanasia procedure is a purely medical procedure, and it leaves a lot of veterinarians and pet owners looking for a way to find more dignity and meaning in this event. That's where Bittersweet comes in. On the left is our flagship product, an exam table cover for euthanasia procedures that converts into a shroud. This means that after the animal has passed, the veterinarian and the pet owner together shroud the animal, wrapping the cloth around it, converting a purely medical procedure into one that has healing built into it. This is a very cost-effective product for veterinarians because they're trying to make these euthanasia procedures into positive experiences, because many of them experience that their online reviews as well as their client retention is highly dependent on whether the euthanasia procedures, more than any other veterinary service, are positive or negative. On the right is another product that's being developed, also based around end-of-life care issues. The team for Bittersweet so far is myself. I just graduated from Brown University with degrees in the social sciences and design, and I'm looking to add more people to the team as well as find some advisors for the business. The business is based around soft good products. I'm looking to sell them both direct to veterinarians as well as direct to pet owners. And the whole business is based around the fact that people pay a premium for end-of-life care products. There is 135 million cats and dogs in the United States, as I mentioned, and approximately 14 million of them die a year, and the majority of these are euthanized. The average euthanasia costs between $85 and $400, and the average cremation cost on top of that is $100 to $500. And this just goes to show that people pay a premium for end-of-life care. And what's great about Bittersweet is that the products are actually meant to complement what already exists, creating a niche for themselves in the market. And the ultimate goal is to make a more meaningful and dignified death for pets. Thank you.
Hi, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Since B-Lab has ended, I've been working on research and development for the products that I mentioned, and this has involved several rounds of prototyping and working with veterinarians who are actually product testing them. If you are able to, I'd love to meet with you afterwards in the Bittersweet networking room.
Hello, my name is Avia Perez, and today I'll be pitching Empower You. Empower You is an ed tech startup that helps address educational disparities. It achieves this by providing students with the access and the tools they need to obtain higher education and essentially go on to improve the quality of their lives. There are 11 million high school students who are currently enrolled in a school that does not have enough school counselors. This means that approximately 1 in every 5 students do not have access to the tools or the resources they need to go on to obtain a higher education. I myself experienced educational disparities. My high school had only one college counselor for more than 500 students. This meant that unfortunately many of my fellow peers who were also first-generation low-income students did not get the chance to sit down with their college counselor and learn about the resources that are available. Although I worked incredibly hard, I know that I got lucky to learn about the incredible resources out there for students just like me. And students just like me should not have to get lucky to have access to higher quality education. All students deserve to have access to the resources and the tools they need to transform their lives, their communities, and ultimately their societies. Educational disparities are prevalent throughout our nation. Did you know that according to the College Board, only 57% of 18 to 24-year-olds are enrolled in college? In addition, only 1 in 10 low-income people go on to obtain higher education. Education remains a catalyst for socioeconomic change and socioeconomic mobility. It not only benefits individuals, but it also benefits society. My solution is Empower You, which would enable students to access the resources that can help them obtain higher education. Through my own experiences and the bottom-up research I conducted with Professor Hazeltine, I have come to validate 3 main root causes of these educational disparities that really prevent students from obtaining higher education, and I plan to address these 3 root causes with my startup Empower You. Another root cause that I was able to research is students having an overall lack of access to scholarships, internships, summer programs, and other incredible resources that can really help them obtain higher education. In order to address this, Empower You will have an incredibly huge database in which students can filter out these opportunities based on their own interests. Empower You has the potential to revolutionize the higher education industry and reimagine the edtech sector to help improve the quality of students' lives all across the nation. I plan to develop my venture into a high-impact solution that would successfully address the educational disparities embedded within society. We want to do everything we can to help millions of students all across the nation. This past year, I got the incredible opportunity to work with 2 software engineers in order to successfully create my MVP. I also was able to talk to various high school principals within the Providence community in hopes of beta testing my app within them. Right now, I'm finalizing the version of the app that I hope to launch very soon, and I would really appreciate any help, guidance, and advice within the educational field. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for coming. As I noted before, I'm currently finalizing the app that I hope to launch by November, and I would really appreciate any help or guidance within the education field and within the technology field as well. And if you're really passionate about education, I would really love to see you in my Zoom room later today. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Brown and I'm the founder of Figured, a venture that's reimagining the hair care space for people with Afro-textured hair. When I was 17, I ran away to New York and cut off most of my hair, and it was the first time in my life that I had learned to embrace my naturally curly hair. I loved that feeling, except I had absolutely no idea how to take care of it. This meant I was spending countless hours on YouTube and other online resources looking at style advice and product recommendations, and at the end of the day, nothing worked. It was an extremely overwhelming, stressful, and especially expensive process for me. And after talking to over 50 people with Afro-textured hair, I realized that I wasn't alone. On average, it takes someone with Afro-textured hair 2 entire years to find a collection of products and advice that work well for both their hair and for their lifestyle. And on average, someone with Afro-textured hair spends over $200 each year on their hair, compared to someone with straight hair that only spends half of that. That being said, that's where Figured comes in. We want to make hair care flexible and personal to our users and cut that 2-year period down to just 30 days. There are 3 critical pieces to our solution. The first is our hair profile analysis. We make it extremely easy for our users to go onto our website and build their hair profile, where we're able to collect over 40 pieces of data on their hair characteristics, their hair goals, and their lifestyle habits in order to provide the best advice for them. The second piece of our solution is actually our hair care experts. Each of our experts sit down and analyze each of our users' profiles in order to get a sense of their lifestyle and their hair characteristics and how they can combine those 2 factors to create the best set of personalized advice for them. The third piece of our solution is our product recommendation engine that analyzes our users' needs and their hair goals in order to find the best product samples that will help them accomplish those, and to also figure out a time frame in which they can do that. When they become part of our Figured family, our customers get personalized advice for their hair care journey and get matched to the ideal set of products for their hair and their lifestyle. Here at Figured, we want to provide our customers with a lifetime of hair care confidence so that they can spend less time worrying about their hair and more time focusing on what matters most to them. So if you like talking about any and all things hair and want to understand more about how Figured is reimagining the hair care process for people with Afro-textured hair, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching my pitch. Here at Figured, we're continually trying to figure out how to make our solution more personal and accessible to our users. And to that end, right now we're really working on incorporating more digital solutions into our offerings. So if you or anyone you know is obsessed with hair and beauty and understands what it's like to incorporate your own digital solutions into your company, I'd love for you to stop by my Zoom room afterwards so we can chat. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Renako Daniel. I'm co-founder of Instance along with my partner Grace Joy. Grace and I are brown biomedical engineers, and in founding Instance, we're developing exercise-based experiences for all abilities. I love exercise, and Grace loves exercise. And one of my favorite things about exercising is doing it with other people. And this sentiment is shared by a lot of persons. That's why group fitness experiences and running clubs and even Peloton are so popular. People are in their basement right now competing against people they've never met and never will meet. It really helps us be our very best when we're doing it with other people, and it definitely makes it a lot more fun. Unfortunately, a lot of these experiences are not designed for persons of all abilities. In fact, there are over 8 million people for whom these systems are not well designed for. And this is where Instance comes in. Instance is developing an ecosystem of connectivity. We're developing custom instrumentation, leveraging our engineering skills, and also we're tuning in to the need of persons to build very robust communities. It helps us be our best. Instance is operating as a subscription-based revenue structure. As I mentioned, we plan to develop classes which can be viewed live as well as on demand, as well as a rich community of persons for whom you could share your performance metrics, as well as looping in other professionals who you want to be a part of you being your very best. Even your family and your loved ones can be a part of it. Grace and I come from a very robust engineering background, and B-Lab has been instrumental in helping us develop financial models and marketing plans and sales pitches. Over the past month in particular, we've made some strong headway, and Grace and I are really excited to speak to you further about what's next for Instance. Thank you so much. Hope to chat with you soon. Bye.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll keep this brief. So as I mentioned, we've had some exciting developments over the past month in particular. Organization has been interested in sharing some technology and developing an agreement towards further developing our technology. Love to share more of this in our Zoom room. Chat with you later. Take care. Bye.
Hi, I'm Diana Perkins, co-founder and CEO of LabSnap. We're a product design company with the goal of creating products that empower individuals with disabilities around the world. Disabled populations of all types face many challenges when navigating the built environment, but surprisingly, many wheelchair users cite shopping as the #1 most difficult aspect of their day-to-day lives. Displays can make the aisles too narrow, items can be placed on shelves that are too high or too low to be reached, and the doors on the freezers make the frozen section extra difficult. Most of them get a spouse, child, or caretaker to do it for them, but this limits their independence. Given that there are 6 million Americans who use a wheelchair, you would be shocked at how difficult it is for many wheelchair users to go shopping for groceries and other essentials on their own. You might be thinking, what about those electric shopping carts I always see in the store? But motorized shopping carts require a user to transfer themselves out of their personal chair and into the cart, which many people just can't do by themselves, and it requires them to leave their personal chair unattended while they shop. But what about those plastic hand baskets every grocery store has? Couldn't they just put one on their lap? While many wheelchair users are currently forced to rely on this method, they have to hold the basket while also maneuvering their chair, so it's really easy for their groceries to just fall off. With these issues in mind, we created our flagship product, the LabSnap, the world's only shopping basket designed with and for wheelchair users. It's a bag with a versatile attachment mechanism that allows you to carry items hands-free. With the LabSnap, we aim to help wheelchair users increase their independence by enabling them to do more tasks by themselves, including shopping, doing laundry, gardening, or household chores. Unfortunately, many products meant for wheelchair users are model-specific, so they can only be used by people who use a specific brand or type of chair. One of our biggest goals was to make the LabSnap as universally designed as possible, so we decided to make the attachment body-based instead of chair-based so that anyone can use it. The LabSnap's versatile elastic strap allows the user to wear it in a variety of comfortable ways, including behind their back, under their legs, or through the arms of their chair. One of the cornerstones of our business is working with the people that we're designing for. By working directly with wheelchair users to design this product, we could immediately see how much easier even our basic prototypes made their shopping experience, and how excited they were about the product. Over the summer, we refined our business strategy, conducted dozens of virtual user interviews, and filed a provisional patent. Right now, we're working on producing a prototype run to send it to people for extended user testing to make sure the product is the best it can be. We will incorporate their feedback as we move into manufacturing, and we plan to start taking pre-orders on our website soon. The LabSnap is the first of many products we hope to create. If you want to learn more, check out our website, thelabsnap.com. We would love to hear from you and figure out together how you can help us make the world more accessible for everyone.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Right now, our biggest challenge is finding affordable suppliers and manufacturing partners. If you have connections in the soft goods or plastics manufacturing industry, we would love to hear from you. We're always on the lookout for passionate people who are enthusiastic about our mission. So if designing accessible products sounds exciting to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if someone in your life uses a wheelchair, please consider joining us after the showcase to learn more about the benefits of our product, how you can get involved, and what's next for LabSnap. We've got lots of exciting ideas for future products, and we're always looking for more input from our audience, so be sure to stop by.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Zhu and I am the founder of Monara. At Monara, we prepare and support girls during their transition through puberty. Growing up is exciting, but it can also be a confusing and stressful time. We are talking about acne breakouts, changes in body shape, getting your first period, and the list goes on. In the US, 20 million girls are going through this transition right now. But puberty education and support is not sufficient at all. More than half of American women, when looking back, said that they were unprepared for the first time they got their period, one of the most important and overwhelming events that happens during puberty. Moreover, a poorly handled puberty may have long-term impact. Girls who are unprepared are more likely to have a negative experience, which, according to research, may lead to negative impact on future sexual and reproductive health. But Monara is going to change all of this. We prepare girls for puberty through products, services, education, and community. We enable girls to understand the changes, learn to take care of themselves, and to be proud of their growth. The first product that we are planning to launch by the end of this year is a guided journal that focuses on health and wellness topics. We're starting with this because it meets all the need we've identified and validated over this past summer at B-Lab. This guided journal will be rich with medically accurate content as well as fun and interactive activities. It provides opportunities for personal reflection as well as family components, such as interviewing your mom about her first period to get that conversation started. It also guides girls to get started on self-care, not only physical health, but also emotional and social health. In terms of marketing and distribution, we plan to reach our end users through 3 routes. Online sales, in particular targeting moms, distributions through private institutions such as schools and pediatric practices, and partnerships with NGOs and nonprofits to make quality puberty care available to all girls. The guided journal is only our first step in becoming the ultimate puberty brand. The end goal of Monara is to create a trusted, comprehensive e-commerce site for all the health-related needs of preteen and teenage girls, from sports bras to vitamins. If you want to learn more about our journey, interested in collaborating, mentoring, or investing us, or simply want to share your puberty story with me, please come to my breakout room after the showcase, or email me at jessica@monara.co. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. I am thrilled to tell you that in the past months, Monara has grown from a solo founder venture of just myself to a team of 5 amazing women with experience in design, illustration, and social media marketing. Some of them are in the audience tonight. Here, I want to share 3 ways that you can get involved. First, we are looking for people to join our marketing campaign team. So if you're passionate about puberty education and girl power, we need you on the team. And second, we are looking for mentors, especially in the health and wellness, self-care, and parenting space. And third, if you have connections in the book design and publishing industry, or know of any girls aged 8 to 16 who are currently going through puberty, let us know and we would love to get in touch. Other than these 3 ways, if you're just interested in learning more about Monara, please also join me at my Zoom room after the showcase. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Maggie and I'm the co-founder of Points. We're all comfortable using Waze or Google Maps to get from point A to point B in our car. But when you're on a bike, scooter, or other small-wheeled micromobility vehicle, navigating to your destination is a bit more difficult. I first learned about this during my cross-country bike trip on my gap year. I would spend over an hour planning for the next day on which roads we would take. And even with all this planning, we would often run into local cyclists who would redirect us onto different roads that were either more scenic or had less car traffic and were safer. When I got to college, it was my first time living in a city, and I found that this was even more difficult to navigate on my bike in Providence. And I started talking to other local cyclists and asked them what their biggest concern was. And over 80% of them told me that it was safety. Most specifically, they were nervous about getting hit by a car. I also asked them what their thoughts were on current solutions. And they told me that they were frustrated because the current solutions they were using either weren't specific to micromobility vehicles and didn't provide the nuanced routing that they wanted, lacked a safety component, or they felt like they were routed on unsafe roads, and were not updated on a regular and timely basis, so the maps weren't accurate. And I thought that we could come up with a solution that would help solve some of these problems, and this is where Points comes in. Points is a mobile app that determines the best route from point A to point B using real-time car traffic data and local crowdsourced information from local riders around safety. We use this information to come up with a quieter path to people's destinations. You can think of us as Waze, but for bikes, scooters, and other micromobility vehicles. Like other mobile apps, we knew that we had to find a sustainable revenue model. Our plan is to use the crowdsourced safety information that we generate and sell it to cities to use for city planning and infrastructure planning. We also plan to use this data to sell to other mapping companies, micromobility operators, and delivery services that use bikes, scooters, and other vehicles that are smaller. We're excited to continue working on Points and have had a great time in B-Lab.
Hi, thanks for tuning in tonight. So since B-Lab ended, my co-founder Trisha and I have been interviewing some government officials and micromobility operators to see how we can pull in different stakeholders into the conversation of safe routing in cities. And I'd love to have you join my breakout room after the session, especially if you're interested in bikes, scooters, and anything else with small wheels or smart cities. Thank you.
Hi, My name is Ritan Ganguly, and I'm the proud founder of Survivor Central, a platform meant to go and match survivors of domestic and sexual abuse with resources that they qualify for. Now, our story begins with the story of Marissa, whose name has been changed to protect her privacy. Now, Marissa was a survivor of domestic and sexual abuse from the very boyfriend that she lived with. But even when she went and reported these heinous atrocities to the authorities, she still wasn't able to be matched with the proper resources that she was eligible for. Now, you may be wondering, why is this? This is for the simple reason that from the moment that she went to the police and the hospital, she was flooded with hundreds of different resources, the majority of which she didn't even know existed, and the majority of which she didn't even qualify for. And for this simple reason, she was overwhelmed and didn't know what to avail. And because of this, Marissa went back home to her abuser, thinking that there was nothing that she could do, even when there was up to $25,000 of relocation aid made available for her, but just was in a form of an obscure grant that she wasn't made aware of. Now, the reason I know this story is because I was Marissa's sexual assault advocate that night, whose role is to go and help act as a case manager and help provide emotional support and guidance during these trying times. And I saw how not only the system failed her, but I myself as her advocate failed her as well, and created Survivor Central as a response. Now, Survivor Central can basically be thought of as a very simple, intuitive question flow, similar to that of TurboTax, where survivors are asked easy, leading yes or no questions, and based on their responses, are paired with regional grants and resources that they qualify for, ranging from medical and financial aid, to child support, to psychological services, to restraining orders and legal aid, the entire package. Now, Survivor Central is completely personalized to the individual and is highly confidential. We encrypt your data, we collect absolutely nothing, and the results are just displayed for you and only you. And the best part is survivors get matched with only the resources they qualify for. So we automate a way that needs to sift through hundreds of resources that they don't have time to do. So please join our cause and help us put the power back where it belongs, in the hands of survivors like Marissa. We are always looking for people to join our team, be it graphic designers, coders, people to help out with publicity and marketing, the entire scope. Please join our team so no survivor like Marissa ever has to go back home to her abuser ever again. Together, I want to make a better world so survivors like Marissa can live healthier, live safer, and live happier. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to speak with you all soon.
Hi all, I'm Ritam from Survivor Central, and it's such a pleasure to be able to speak with you all today. As a quick update on Survivor Central, we currently have a phenomenal team of software engineers that are working with us to go and build our product. And they are not only extremely motivated and dedicated, but a lot of them are survivors as well. So they understand not only the gravity of the issue, but also they have the dedication to go and be on our team. What we're looking for everyone right now is two main things. Firstly, for anyone from any industry, be it finance, web dev, publicity, even if you're a happy hand that wants to go and help promote our cause, I would love to speak with you and see how we can go and get this platform available to survivors everywhere. And secondly, we're currently looking for seed funding. We're launching in Providence within the next month, and we have our eyes set on launching in states across the country within the next year. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to speak with you all soon.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm a PhD student in chemical biology and proud co-founder of Silly Store. As an increasing rate of working parents coincides with an increase in lactation advocacy worldwide, pumping and storing milk has become an important avenue for nursing parents to continue breastfeeding. Unfortunately, breast milk storage products are still stuck in the dark ages. Silly Store helps nursing parents save time, freezer space, and reduce plastic waste by providing a food-safe, pump, store, feed, all-in-one, reusable breast milk storage system. This is what the current process of storing breast milk looks like. Parents are double bagging their milk to reduce loss due to leaking. They have to pump into a bottle, transfer the milk to the equivalent of a Ziploc storage bag, then transfer the milk back into the bottle to feed the baby. This transaction costs 2 dishes and the disposal of a single-use plastic bag, the key word being plastic. These plastics have been known to leach endocrine-disrupting chemicals, which are especially harmful to infants, yet virtually no other option exists on the market. On top of that, these Ziploc bags are impossible to organize, which leads to absolutely chaotic freezers. Can you tell which bag is the oldest? Clearly, these problems need to be addressed to make breastfeeding and breast milk storage more efficient for nursing parents. With our storage system, there's no more crying over spilled milk. Our innovative cap design shown on the right eliminates leaks and the need for milk transfers. Our bottles are rectangular in shape to maximize storage efficiency. They're FDA approved and have been shown across multiple studies to not leach harsh chemicals. And they're reusable, preventing up to 13.5 billion breast milk storage bags from polluting our landfills each year. Because we value all mothers, including Mother Nature. So what does the market look like? There are currently 9 million new nursing parents in the United States, Canada, and Europe each year. And the global breastfeeding accessories market currently sits at $780 million with an 11% CAGR, which works out to be over $1.6 billion by 2025. We see a clear path for go-to-market with our value propositions, which we plan to achieve through B2C selling online and in retail stores, but also through B2B channels, selling to breast milk storage banks and hospitals because our bottles are robust and industrial in strength and reusability, unlike the plastic bottles currently used. And breast milk storage is just the beginning. Our customer discovery revealed a whole host of products that need to be reimagined to adapt to 21st century parenting. And as chemists in training, we're excited to offer chemical innovations in breast milk storage to completely revolutionize the breastfeeding process. Also in the pipeline are quiet, wearable, smart breast pumps that track important breastfeeding data and customizable pacifiers to reduce nipple confusion and increase breastfeeding success. Say goodbye to plastic and crying over spilled milk, and say hello to breastfeeding reimagined.
Hi everyone, I invite you all to join me in my Zoom room afterwards to discuss a winning proposition to support breastfeeding parents. Right now, my team is working on filing our provisional patent, and we're full steam ahead with prototyping and focus groups, and we would love to hear your thoughts and suggestions on this or on developing a supply chain in North America. We would also love to chat with folks who are generally interested in what we're doing and our future plan in modernizing parenting. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all shortly.
Hi, my name is Glenn and I'm the founder of WeFlop, a venture in the legal real money online poker space. I'm here today to convince you that my venture has the possibility of fundamentally changing the way people play poker online. Before I begin, I want to ask you a question. The question is this: do you want to play online poker? When I ask this question, usually the answer I get is no. The answer I get is something like, I don't really know how to play poker, I don't want to lose my money, and I'm scared that if I deposit onto a website, it won't be long before someone who's a lot better than me takes all of my money, and I don't want that to happen. And if that's what you answered, then that just means you're reasonable, because that's exactly probably what would happen if you deposited money on a poker website. Now, you can imagine that this is kind of a problem for a poker website because it reveals this self-fulfilling prophecy, where the reason why you don't want to play poker isn't because you have something against poker, or it's not because you don't think you can ever learn poker, it's because you think that the games are too tough. You think that the opponents are going to be too strong. Now, the reason why your opponents are so strong, however, is because people like you don't want to play. And you can see how it just loops around. This argument just loops around where people don't want to play because the games are too tough, and the games are so tough because the recreational players don't want to play. And what this results in is kind of the ossification of online poker, the death of online poker. You can Google this term, and this is something that poker players talk all the time about, which is that the games are getting tougher and tougher and fewer people want to play. Now, at WeFlop, we believe we have a solution to this problem. At WeFlop, we're building a poker platform that's kind of like the Shopify of online poker. What I mean by that is we're building a platform where people will be able to host and customize their own poker rooms. Now, our hosts will be able to create poker rooms that are very similar to the existing poker sites. But what WeFlop does differently is we allow for the creation of online poker communities. That's because our hosts will also be able to create exclusive poker rooms. That means communities that are exclusive to members of a certain university or people who are just starting out playing poker. And the goal is that WeFlop will eventually have rooms for all types of people, and maybe even a room for you.
Hey everyone, thanks for showing up. As you can imagine, COVID has meant that a lot of home poker games have been migrated online. And so me and my co-founder have been busy working on an MVP, which we're hoping to launch by November, that just lets people play with their friends on the internet. As for asks, we're not raising for at least for another few months, but we might eventually do so. So if that's something you're interested in doing, feel free to join my Zoom room. And also, I'm also always happy to talk to people about my idea, especially if you have the experiences or the problems that I explained in the video.
We believe that a single event can positively change the world. Whether it's hosting a workshop, attending a professional event, or maybe something casual with friends, we know that the biggest threat to this potential is effective event communication. But how do we know? To be honest, at the start of this journey, we didn't. However, over the past 3.5 years, we've conducted interviews with over 50 organizations and believe that we have the answer. Through all of the interviews and having piloted a beta version of the platform with the Summer Brown Pre-College program in 2019, there were 4 main pain points that were revealed to us, which were getting through the social media noise, keeping guests up to date universally, planning and collaborating on an event centrally, and measuring event success. It's from these insights that our hypothesis was formulated. If event communication could be simplified and centralized from an initial idea of an event to it happening and evaluating it after it had happened, events would have a greater impact. It's from this research and in-field experience that we can confidently say that for organizers, we know how challenging it can be getting all your friends and colleagues on the same page, having to relay information back and forth across multiple channels, from Slack to email and text and back. And for attendees, being young and technologically driven, we know it's extremely difficult to get a grasp of all the events happening around you, often forcing you to bounce between various social media platforms. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if there were a simpler way to manage event communications, one that didn't force you to endlessly relay information and didn't require you to bounce around different platforms? That's exactly what we're working on at Yubika. At Yubika, we've built an online forum that allows people to create and share events quickly and easily. But beyond that, we help make an event truly yours with useful features like ticketing and analytics. And here's what it looks like. For the attendee, it's a central hub of events based on the communities you follow, replacing the need to rely on an arsenal of platforms to be informed of what's happening around you. Why a central hub? Because every person we've interviewed already does this, albeit in an imperfect way, by centralizing their events on social media in general. And for the event organizer, we've simplified event collaboration, meaning as soon as you have an idea for an event, you can get started working on the details with your friends and colleagues, right on the app. Because coordinating a simple meeting to discuss whether an event idea is even viable shouldn't have to take place over several different channels. And when you're ready to publish your event, you can then pick and choose which communities you'd like to share it to, replacing this convoluted process of having to get out several different newsletters and listservs. And when all is said and done, and you've pulled off the event you've envisioned, you can get instant feedback to know exactly what worked and why. Because for most organizations, it's not only important to know the good things that work, but also understanding the areas for improvement. If you believe a single event can have a tremendous impact on your community, start with Yubika.
Hey there, everyone. This is Sam from Yubika. Since recording the video, we've actually redesigned the app entirely, and early estimates suggest that we'll be launching in early October. We've been secretly partnering with some student organizations across 9 universities, including Brown, Yale, and Johns Hopkins. And currently, we're seeking mentorship in areas of business development, marketing, and fundraising as we gear up this winter to apply to more fundraising, to apply for VC and further accelerator programs. If you're interested to talk about these things, or if you know anyone who's interested, feel free to connect through our Zoom link.
Hi, my name is William Yang. My parents immigrated to the States with a limited understanding of English. Even today, 30 years later, I still need to constantly help them fill out forms, write emails, and pay bills. But these are only a few of the many, many problems that immigrants and refugees face. Just under half of the foreign-born population are not English proficient, limiting their job opportunities. In addition, many immigrants and refugees arrive to the States without a network of friends and family. They often struggle to make connections and are frequently lonely and isolated, an issue that has only gotten worse in the world of COVID-19. This is where Belong Here comes in. We offer an online space in which immigrants who have been in the US for less than 7 to 10 years are paired with a first or second generation immigrant who serves as a mentor. We provide our mentors with extensive support and training, including cultural competency, to make sure that they are fully prepared to help and empower their mentee. We match based on background, native language, career field, demonstrated points of need, and shared interests. The pair has weekly meetings after an initial conversation determining fit. Based on their needs, the mentee might ask about finding a job, pursuing higher education, or applying for a driver's license. They may want to practice English or ask questions about American culture and customs. Our team is driven by a passion for combating socioeconomic and educational inequities. Our co-founder team consists of Hannah, our team's design lead, Michelle, our research lead, and myself, our technical lead. We are working with Harry Gottlieb, founder of Jackbox Games and Unify America, who serves as our mentor. We are currently building our MVP in partnership with 4 immigrant-focused and religious centers, reaching 100 immigrants in need. Unlike existing centers, our pairings are remote, which allows for much greater scalability, and we expect to reach over 5,000 immigrants by year 4. In short, Belong Here creates an intentional and inclusive community through an online structured mentorship system. We help immigrants find themselves in a new place and home, and we are driven by the belief that we all truly belong here. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and listening to our presentation. We are excited to be filing for nonprofit status and continuously expanding to reach more immigrants and refugees. Please reach out if you know of any community organizations who will be potential partners, or if you have connections to various immigrant communities. Additionally, we are always welcoming of enthusiastic mentors. So if you are passionate about immigrant resources, we would love to talk to you in our breakout room. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Justin, and I'm one of the co-founders of Cress Health. And here at Cress, we are tackling one of the most pressing problems during the current COVID-19 pandemic, which is healthcare worker burnout. So burnout currently affects over 50% of healthcare workers in the US alone. And it's a psychological condition caused by chronic workplace stress that costs hospitals billions of dollars each year in lost productivity. Now, peer support has been widely regarded as essential in preventing burnout, with 88% of healthcare workers actually preferring peer support over traditional therapy. But unfortunately, current peer support programs are incredibly underutilized. And we've identified 2 key limitations to explain why. So first, peer support programs right now are mainly in person. And this poses a huge barrier to entry, and they're just not accessible for healthcare workers, given their busy daily schedules. Second, healthcare workers fear the career-sensitive stigma that follows when they actually go to these in-person programs. And because of that, 77% actually view a lack of confidentiality as a major barrier to entry to these programs. So to really address these limitations, we've developed the Cress app, a mobile app designed and tailored to the everyday mental wellness needs of the healthcare worker. And our app has three major components. So first, we provide healthcare workers with confidential, convenient peer support through a personalized online support community who can genuinely understand what they're going through. Second, we allow healthcare workers to keep track of their day-to-day mental well-being through convenient and simple personal journaling. And finally, we allow healthcare workers to really get a good grasp of how their wellness is going by offering personalized analytics that summarize trends in their mental health and emotional health. And we also offer personalized self-care tips to help them improve their wellness. So we plan to commercialize the Cress app through a B2B revenue model. And basically, we charge the organization $5 per month per employee so that the healthcare worker doesn't have to pay a dime. And given the over 20 million healthcare workers in the US alone, that yields over $1 billion revenue opportunity. And right now, we're currently, we finished product development and testing, and now we're actually partnering and piloting with one of the major healthcare institutions in Chicago, Illinois, called Amita Health. And we're right now piloting with them and really trying our best to serve their mental wellness needs of the healthcare workforce. So to end, we really are really grateful for this opportunity to be in B-Lab this summer and really trying our best to make an impact on this incredibly important problem right now, given the COVID-19 climate. And healthcare workers right now obviously are facing tremendous stress and trauma, and it is our duty as a venture to really make an impact and really help them during this time of need. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Hi, everyone. Justin here. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to come and listen to our presentation. And as we're currently piloting with Meta Health and other healthcare organizations, we would greatly appreciate any introductions or connections to leaders in healthcare who would be interested in bringing our product to their organizations. And we would love to talk more about our venture in our breakout room, so please visit. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Asha, and I'm the founder of the venture Peel Care, where we make personalized mental wellness tools for you. We have a mental health care crisis in this country. Depression has doubled in adults during COVID-19, and it's only getting worse. We simply do not have enough mental health professionals to keep up with the growing demand and to get everyone treatment that they need. Peel Care is here to help. At Peel Care, we've developed an app where we're able to match people with therapist-verified exercises and activities that they can do every day based on their interests, identity, and goals. First, we ask you share this information with us during onboarding, and then we take that information and use our algorithms to match you specially to all of these different activities, 3 different ones every day. If you're interested in nature and photography, we'll recommend you take a moment and take a beautiful picture of a flower. If you're interested in dancing, we'll recommend you tap your foot to your favorite song, even at work. We try to make recommendations that fit your life and to never waste your time. We also are in a growing, amazing market in mental health care. There are apps like Calm and Headspace, but they all have the same direct-to-consumer freemium model. At Peel, we look to work with insurance companies and government programs, and we target things like remote monitoring for therapists, community health programs, and in the future, a group therapy platform, so that we're able to be covered by insurance companies and we're not always putting the burden of paying on consumers, especially those who need healthcare. We also have an amazing set of advisors and partners that you can see on the slide. We also have special connections with the Refugee Dream Center, who's excited to pilot us at their different community health workshops, and also at the Harvard Global Mental Health Initiative and associated teaching hospitals and the Digital Psychiatry Lab at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, where they're interested in using our technology for their studies. In terms of the future roadmap, we have a few things ahead of us that we're really excited about. We have a public launch in October and are already in beta testing and added amazing community features and peer support features for that public launch. And then down the line, we have machine learning models that we want to add to further our personalization. And we have the goal of developing next year a HIPAA-compliant group therapy platform that's covered by insurance companies. In terms of team, we have a wonderful team of my co-founders, Srishti and I, and we both have experience in coding and at working at different startups, and both have personal connections to mental health work. And we're really excited to be working on this as recent Brown grads during this especially difficult time for mental health. Right now, we're looking to raise about $150,000 to further build out our tech team and also to bring on official science advisors in a capacity where they can advise us every step of the way as we build.
So my name is Srishti and I'm the other co-founder of Peel Care. And as Asha said in our video, we make personalized mental health technology accessible. And personally, we were inspired to make Peel because of our own experiences with mental health, especially in immigrant communities, where the one-size-fits-all solutions don't consider our experiences. So over the past month since B-Lab, we focused on talking to a lot of potential users and mental health professionals. And I've been really focused on developing our app. We actually have about 20 beta testers right now. So we're looking for science or mental health advisors and would love to talk to anyone interested or just anyone looking to hear more about what we do. So thank you.
And thank all of you for sticking with us. I know that was a lot of presentations, but I hope you'll agree with me that, boy, they are inspiring, they're future looking, and they're grounded at the same time. So, and I have to say, I'm really, really proud as the director of B-Lab to have shared with you the great progress of all of these entrepreneurs. I think it's important for me to acknowledge that you saw about 15 students tonight, but there were many more in B-Lab. Of course, many of these ventures have multiple founders, and so they all work together to make the progress that they had. As we start to wrap up the evening, I want to take a moment to acknowledge my partners in this adventure at the Nelson Center. We have just an incredible crew and they work extremely hard all summer long alongside me and the other people who put this on. I want to acknowledge Liz Malone. Hi, Liz. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge Abby Dermaz. Hi, Abby. Thank you so much. Fabi Sarkis, who is our undergraduate intern. Thank you, Fabi, for all of your hard work. I also want to say that although I spend a lot of time with the ventures personally, I had two wonderful in-house B-Lab co-mentors who made it possible during the online version. And so I want to also acknowledge Jonas Clark as a co-mentor. Jonas, hi. Jonas is the Associate Director of the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And I also want to acknowledge Hamza Ansari, who is a faculty member in the School of Engineering in the Innovation Management program, and he also was instrumental for several of the ventures. My final thank you is to the people behind the scenes tonight. That's the Media Services Group at Brown University. In particular, I want to acknowledge and thank Mike Spohr, who, Mike, I don't know if you want to put your video on, spotlight yourself, but Mike did a heroic effort at editing 15 student videos and interlaced the slides and the videos. There you are, Michael. Thank you so much. That was a heroic effort on a very tight timeline. And that crew in media services at Brown, they are the busiest people at the university right now. They're supporting events like this virtually every day of the week. So my hat's off to you, Mike, and the crew. Thank you again for all of that. So my final introduction is a very good friend and super great colleague of mine. Danny Warshay is the executive director of the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And although it's painful, I'm going to let Danny have the last word tonight. Thank all of you for coming out tonight, and I do hope you'll join the students in their breakout rooms. So Danny, take it away.
I hope I rise above painful as a description of my final words. Thank you, Jason. And, thank you to you for the amazing work you did in leading an unprecedented kind of B-Lab this summer in which you had to pivot, a classic entrepreneurial word in order to leverage scarce resources and benefit from scarce resources, all the kinds of things we teach our students at Brown in entrepreneurship and in B-Lab particularly, we were faced with in these unprecedented times. And you and all the folks you mentioned did an incredible job of pulling off B-Lab at the highest quality ever. No compromise in quality despite the unusual times. I would be remiss if I didn't just briefly interject in my remarks my trademark question, which I think will work even here among now 100 and some people, which is, I don't know if you can raise your hand officially or virtually or throw in an emoji, something to indicate for how many of you is this your first Nelson Center event of any kind? Yes, sure enough. I see some.
Yeah, I'm
And
seeing
so,
several. I'm seeing several.
and the reason Jason knows, the reason I love asking that question is because without fail, I've asked it at every single event we've ever had in the last over 4 years. And there are always new people joining us, which is just wonderful. It's a phenomenal testament to the insatiable appetite that the Brown community and that the community at large that we're increasingly serving has for entrepreneurship. And, you know, we define entrepreneurship as a structured process for problem solving. And I think evident in all the 15 teams you saw tonight is that these are teams that are really focused on identifying problems of consequence and then working very hard to solve them. And I don't know about you, but I felt along the way this evening a sense of optimism that honestly, it's been a little while since I've been feeling. And so I hope you all feel that too, that the world is in really good hands to the extent we're entrusting it to this generation of young entrepreneurs. So thank you to all of you for brightening our spirits at a time when I think we all really need that. It's a pleasure to be here tonight and even to wear one of these. I remarked that it's actually, I think, the first time in 6 months that I've had the opportunity to wear a slightly better look. I even wore shoes for the occasion, which isn't always the case when I'm on Zoom. But it's really a pleasure to wear this, I think, emblematic of my celebrating all the hard work that you've done. Just a couple more thank yous before I let everybody move into the specific venture Zoom rooms. One is to all the donors who make the venture work we do at the Nelson Center, all the kind of work we do across curricular, co-curricular, and venture support categories, but in particular, donors who gave to our Venture Catalyst Fund, which is the fund that enables B-Lab to happen and prosper each year. So thank you to our donors. Thank you to the members of our advisory council, many of whom I see here with us tonight. The students who presented, of course, but also other students who I see here, some of my current students, some past students. There's also prospective students here. We invited families of prospective students and the students themselves to be with us to check out what's in store for them if they applied to Brown and if they come to Brown. There's many alumni, there's faculty here. I'd be remiss also if I didn't acknowledge Barrett Hazeltine, who everybody loves and is in many ways responsible for all of this kind of venture creation that happens at Brown and has happened at Brown for generations. And then the staff, my colleagues at the Nelson Center, I won't identify them again, Jason did that, but I'm so proud of everybody on our Nelson team for rising to the occasion and doing such an amazing job of continuing to do what we do, even though, and we're a little bit heartbroken not being able to, we can't be in the beautiful building that we spent so much time and effort building, but we look forward to being there sooner than later. The last thing I'll say is, if you liked what you saw today, and for some reason you're not getting our periodic email updates, you can go to our website, which is entrepreneurship.brown.edu, and you'll find a spot where you can register for our emails. If for some reason you can't find that, you can even just email us at entrepreneurship@brown.edu, and Liz, I think, is just putting in the link for where you can register for those emails. You'll get targeted invites to other of our programs. All of our programming is going to be remote for the foreseeable future. So it's as easy for you if you are in Providence as if you are in China, which I noticed one of our participants tonight is hauling from with a 12-hour time difference. So we welcome all of you to come to all of our events, which are as simple to access as hitting a Zoom button. So last, I will encourage you all to go to the designated Zoom rooms that are paired to each of the ventures which you saw present tonight. And that will provide a more intimate setting in which to ask questions, provide feedback, offer resources and assistance. The way you access those, there's a link in the chat right now. It'll take you to a website, and it will enable you to scroll through the various names of the ventures, and you'll see a specific link assigned to each venture where you can click, and you can hop among Zoom rooms if you like. We'll try to keep them open as long as it looks like their activity. Liz, just give me the thumbs up, and if I didn't forget anything, excellent. So we look forward to seeing you all at our next events. And for now, a big clap and thank you, virtual, however you'd like, real. And we'll be seeing you in all the Zoom rooms. Thank you very much, everybody.